Okay, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of you people and welcome back again for the month of March on our Grade 10 series. In the month of March, what are the updates we do have and how are we going to complete the lessons and where do we have completed so far? अभी तक कुछ रख करना तीन और. Okay, so far so all good. Okay, so let's get started off. Okay, Api, we will be getting into a section under the operating system chapter. So not operating system, concepts of ICT lesson Nikatamai. Today we have been going on. Okay, all right. So give me a minute. Let me. Okay, right. Share the files. Recording is open, and let's get started. So last class, okay, api patangatta under the concepts of ICT. I think it was the day one session. Okay, and we will be moving on. Okay, one by one from there. So in our last class, we learned about data versus information. Yes, okay, last what is data, what is information, what are the different types of data. Computers are code into classifications, computers are code into the uh, liveware and hardwares. Today we have to go with the continuation from thereby. Okay, so very small, interesting ones. So let's get started off for today's topic under computer classification. So what is computer classification? Simply meaning the division of computers. We can divide computers as analog according to technology, according to the size, according to the generations and everything. So last class, okay, introduction and gunna. Today's class we will be talking about what are the different type of computers in different categories. Right, for an example, you are okay booking a seat. So we have different categories of seats. Okay, VIP, supreme, ordinary, economy. Okay, less economy, and never get So similarly, okay, in for an example, in this computers, we can also categorize the computer in different technology wise, generation wise, size wise. Right. So Emanang, first thing is under the technology. What is technology? The signal. Okay, how the signal gets transmitted. So we have two forms of technology. One is analog technology, and one is digital. So are they still used? Exactly, yes. What is this analog and digital sonna? These are two types of signal format. Okay, how do you transfer data? That is what analog and digital is. Okay, let's take there are two fans. Okay, let me draw a fan. Guys, I'm a very bad drawer. Okay. Mata draw karna killer misa kuta and when if you ask me to draw a fan, I'll be in the company cutlet on mari. So ಅದು ಮಾರಿ ஒரு ಆರ್ಟಿಸ್ಟ್ தான் ನಾನು ಬಟ್ ಐ ಟ್ರೈ ಓಕೆ சரி பர்ஃபெக்ட் அப்படியே காப்பி பண்ணி இங்கே போடுவோம் okay nice. So we have a fan. Think if it's an analog fan. Okay, let's see. It's what if it's an analog fan? What if it's a digital fan? What is the difference? Okay, if it's an analog fan, okay, the speed and the power consumption, okay, can be controlled. Meaning, okay, you can control the power consumption. Meaning, what it is, infinite. So ඒකට අපි power වැඩි දෙන්න speed එකත් වැඩි වෙනවා. When I decrease the power, speed එකත් අඩු වෙනවා. So basically, it is if I put into a graph, okay, the power consumption can be in any way I can write it like this. If I put into a graph how power consumption happens, okay, based on the voltage and time, it can basically, okay, go as much as possible high or it can go as low as possible. So this is according to the time and voltage. So this is analog. So you can set the speed for 5 and it will go much more faster than පොඩ කරන්න පුළුවන් ආය වැඩි කරන්න පුළුවන් අන්න ඒ විදියට. That's analog. On the other hand, if it's a digital one, so now you have a very low power consumption. So in analog, power consumption එක වැඩි, strength එකත් වැඩි. But in digital, the power consumption is low and the strength is also strength කියලා කියන්නේ the ability to do the work, it's also constant. Okay, we can also tell though. In digital, you don't send the current however you want. The current can only go in two states. You can either turn on, where the current will flow, or you can turn it off. You can turn it on, or you can turn it on, and you can turn it off. Where this is on and this is off. Did you get my point? Okay, so if it's an analog current, if it's an analog fan එකක් නම් you can set the current input as much as you want and the power also will be high as much you expected. But if it's a digital nang, you will have only a button on and off. If you press it on, it will work on a constant speed. If you press it off, it will work on a, it will turn it off. So it has either on or off with right. Here you have different levels. So you have levels like this, level 1, level 2, level 3. Here it is only on and off. Each level will give you higher speeds because more power is consumed. Here, only on and off. People, did you all understood how this analog and digital works? Shall I also give you another example for you all to like relate it? Mm-hmm. Why not, Umair? Okay, think about analog and digital. Let me explain you with another example. එහෙම ලස්සනයිනේ. Because science a lot you will understand. Okay, think about I have a tube, a water tube. This situation I have a water tube. If it's an analog water tube, now how it will be? Just an example. Now water tube එක analog කියලා එකක් නෑ. That's where I'm trying to explain you with a water tube example. So it will be easy for me. Right? Okay. Umair, let's see here. If this is a water tube, what will flow? உங்களுக்கு என்ன போகும்? டங் 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 இந்த இப்படி கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா particles மாதிரி போடுறது வந்து தண்ணி, water. Okay. But in this tube, there is no way to control the water because there is no tap. Okay, there is no tap. So water flow increase when the outflow එකත් වැඩි වෙනවා. The incoming එකත් වැඩි වෙනවා, output එකත් වැඩි වෙනවා. If I increase the power, strength get increased like the fan. But in a digital tube, you have the water, but no matter what of input I give, I have a tap. Okay, I have a tap here. Methaning, okay, the tap decide of how much of water should I give it as output. Because my kochchara input of current දුන්නත් වැඩක් නෑ. The output is constant. Did you get my point? Okay, so in analog current, you can send as much as possible power Depending on the power, the output also will be higher. In digital, okay, you can send as much as you don't need to send as much as possible because it has a discrete value. Like the set of values is there. Make or not make, in the make or not make, we are able to get it understood, Omer. Coming to the computer. If the computer is an analog computer, now it will consume more power. Okay. If it's a digital computer, now it will consume less power because we know how to get the use of that. Or I mean, maybe topic because you can control the power. Why is a less power method? Because you can control it. Here the wastage is less. Here the wastage is more. Did you get it? Again. Fan. Let's begin with the fan. An analog fan. So now you have different levels, and each level will give you high speed. If I increase the speed, this is in terms of speed. If I increase the speed, power consumption will increase. It is the same power there? No. Make it kinoapi. Okay, analog. Analog depends on the input current or input voltage. Anything, any input in the analog signal depends on the input. Okay. Whereas if it's a digital now, you have only two options, either on or either off it, turn it off. If it's on now, it will work on a constant flow. In that constant flow, what do you want? Okay, okay, you don't want more current. Current consumption is very low here. That's the reason we are using digital electricity. Digital watches, digital smartphone, digital TV. Dan therunade I digital ko merenda hadan because you can get the work done with less amount of power. Great. Okay, so I was able to explain you with more examples. Right. Analog current के लिए क्या है? A current supply which has no, okay, constant value, which can have a variable value. Okay, the power can go higher, lower. में पापी लसन रोग मत पापी top लसन रोग What am I doing? Hold on. Perfect. So this is analog. Signal which uses external factors to function. Okay, temperature, pressure, speed, power, all these factors determine analog. If it's a digital nang, you don't work like that. It has a discrete value. It is either on or either off. Signal that represent data as a sequence of discrete value on no off. Sounds okay? Okay. There are a couple of digital computers also. So hybrid computer where they have mixed it both. Where you have the digital analog current, where you have both the analog current in that, and the system also to function on certain things. The system also to function on certain things, they have the digital current. Yeah. So it has both. So here you can certain things you use it to use it by the analog and certain things to use it by the analog. For example, X-ray ka gannavanam, they scan it using the analog current because it's precise one. Heartbeat take gannavanam, it's analog. Okay. Heartbeat take. Then you do have heartbeat and X-ray. Varunama, the display unit is there. That is displayed using digital. Good. That's under computers according to technology. ECG, EEG, MIR scanners, all medical equipments are hybrid. Then computers in different size. The smallest computer that we do have it is your mobile phone. We call it as the personal digital assistant. Then computers will become bigger and bigger and bigger, and we have different name. Then we do have microcomputer. We call it as like a laptop or desktop. These are known as what? Microcomputers. मेरा अभी day-to-day life of use करने का तमाई which is little bit higher power consumption ने का तिक. So when you go from smaller computer to a larger computer, okay, the cost take away the speed take away the power consumption very size become bigger, power ekat very okay, everything gets increased. Then we have microcomputer. These are like servers and workstations. Servers තමයි එන්නේ ගොඩක්ම. It's which little bit higher performance than a normal computer. Example, in a normal computer, we'll say the RAM is around 8 GB kimko, the RAM memory. But in a microcomputer, you might have a RAM of 64 GB. Anevity. Then we do have workstations. Workstation, which is known as a mainframe computer, right? Let me take you into the example. Great. We're not it then. Okay. So we'll say there is a server එකක් මම පෙන්නන්නම්කෝ. A higher performance computer. A single server. මෙන්න high-end performance computer on that server. Okay, here you will have high stack of RAM, hard disk එක වැඩි, little bit. Okay, higher performance then මේ වගේ racks වගේ දාලා මේ rack එකේ තමයි you will have a server. Okay, mostly it is having higher performance than a normal computer in terms of speed, in terms of processor, because servers are designed to handle internet operations. They are designed to handle internet operation. Then we do have workstation, which is larger. Logo setup එකක්. Okay, workstation computers are a little bit bigger than your normal traditional computer. Okay, which has high performance. මෙන්න මේ වගේ workstation එකක් තියෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ වගේ high end setup එකක්. Not like a normal computer. Okay, a little bit bigger. Let me show you. Maybe a very big size computer. Meagatole, you have lot of CPUs, lot of RAM, okay, lot of power. So it has lot. Who? This mainframe. Then we have the IA. IA வந்து super computer. அது வந்து it's like massive in size. Okay, Titan is an example of a supercomputer like this. It's massive. In a room, they have put liquid cooling, powers are consumed. So what is actually these computers do? They are the computers who will respond to your inquiry. So the moment that you ask from Google something, okay, in one of these computer, ahana de store velati. Google will retrieve and give back. Okay, when you inquire something, ahana දෙයක් කියලා මේක ඇතුළේ තමයි තියෙන්නේ. Supercomputers are like example, Titan computers. Okay, if you all wanted to write anything now, we can copy it down. So computers according to technology, signal transmission, computers according to size. Can we have a thumbs up if you have finished it? Okay. Next is going to be according to the generation. Okay, what type of technology they were using. Okay, right, perfect. Okay, so I don't have these Tute. Okay, welcome Umair. Okay, you can order the tute and get it. Okay, there is a link which I'll share with you. Making order करना grade 10 full pack है we will be sharing the whole pack to you soon. Okay, nice. So here we have not this one. Sorry, make an in this form. Hurry. So let's get into the next one. According to the generation, so what type of component they were using? So the first generation were based on vacuum tubes. Okay, a large size cylinder, a size of a marker, and these were able to manipulate current, and that's how they started using it. मैं आता था मैं यहाँ पे vacuum tubes के लिए किया नहीं. In which generation? First generations. Okay. Eta passe, afterwards, little by little, you can't be using these vacuum tubes because they consume power a lot and they are also a little bit bigger. So, computers becoming bigger. So, they wanted something more. They wanted something as something which will be really reliable. This will be where it will be cheap but still powerful. So Hammer side Balala, they created a transistor. Check me size komada adwila tinigila generation wise. Then they wanted to make it way more higher performance. Okay, because they can't use one transistor, they want to use multiple. Okay, they wanted to be using what performance, okay, higher performance. They created something called as integrated circuits. We learned on these type of integrated circuits that is known as the logic gates. Do you remember? So this was what we learned. Okay, right. Manang, if I tell you around, okay, if I tell you around one, okay, sorry, one IC here, Balande, or we show numbers link here, the one theory. One IC in this has been replaced maybe around 100,000 transistors. Roughly around 100,000 transistors is equivalent to a one IC. Did you get my point? So the technology wise improving. Then we do have CPU, central processing unit. This is the chipset and this is the technology that we have been learning. And finally AI. AI එක අපි ඉගෙන ගමු. Example like ChatGPT. So how technology has evolved and where right now we are, what will be the future and everything we will be learning. So these are all different forms of technology used to create computers back in those days. Okay, so we have to go through one by one in general now. තේරුණාද ලස්සනට? What is it? Okay, එහෙමනම් let's get it done. Vacuum tubes. Okay, in this era, computers were created using vacuum tubes, and for storage, they used punch cards for storage. ඒ කාලේ මේවා තිබ්බේ hard disk මුකුත් තිබ්බේ Right. Software they were using machine code. They are like one and zeros. Okay. high power consumption, expensive. Mayo use kalatamai ENIAC, UNIVAC, HEADVAC, okay, devices had it. Okay, since they were using vacuum tubes, the computers were becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, it is like a size of a room. Nothing or cupboard or the size of or computer will be a size of a cupboard. Just check it. This is an earliest ENIAC computer, and this ENIAC computer is capable of performing calculation and made using whom? Vacuum tubes. Okay. अभी मैं एक कॉपी करेगा मुझे එතකොට ඔරන්ට එක පාට ලියන්න ඕන. So in this generation they were using vacuum tubes, okay, vacuum tubes, and they were using punch card for storage. In this generation, okay, you are learning on how the size of the computer will be. So since they're using this kind of a cylinder thing, what is it? The size started exceeding. So it went up to okay, very bigger size, a room size. Once you'll have completed, put a tick. And if you have a doubt now, feel free to ask in a chat. Okay. Moving on to the second one, that is transistor. Again. See how the size has decreased drastically. So in this technology, a lot of new invention were able to introduce. In here, they were using transistors. Not only that, okay, hard disk came in. Hard disk and floppy disk. Software, they were not using machine language, they upgraded it to assembly language. Smaller in size, cheap, okay, higher performance. IBM 730 වගේ කම්පියුටරයක් හැදුවේ මෙන්න මේක තියලා. Perfect. Okay, nice. Then we moved into the next one. ಅದನ್ನ CDC series ಆಗ್ತೇನೆ. Then we moved into logic gates. Logic gates one of the integrated circuits. Here they were using what? Integrated circuits. In this technology only, mouse and keyboard key. Here they were using high level programming language. Okay, compact in size, high performance. Okay, faster. IBM 370. Yeah, 370 and 380. IBM series, well, I think yeah, there were two 370 and 380. 360 and 380. And then PDP like computer series yakkawa. PDP computer series. So they were making computers based on that. Good, right. So once you'll have copied down these two, put a thumbs up. Afterwards, they wanted to go for a very high-end computer. So they moved into what? CPU. CPU is way more faster. मेरे तो वहाँ पे ही रहेगा. Okay, मैं CPU करता हूँ, we used to call it as microprocessor chip. So they started doing advancement in here, like how Core i5, Core i7, Core i9. So all these advancement happened in what? 4th gen. In here, the hardware they were using was okay microprocessor, and in this era, CD and DVD SSD drives were introduced. Okay, very high level programming language. Smaller in size, better performance, reliable. IBM notebook series, Apple's series, and okay, with the technology advancement, okay, there is something where we have it known as a Moore's law. Okay, Moore's law, what Moore's law says is your technology එක end වැඩි වෙලා වැඩි වෙලා වැඩි වෙලා at one point it will stop. That is from there onwards, you can't invent computers. Like you can't invent more technology. The reason is we have come to the maximum. Okay. So මෙහෙම in terms of Moore's law එක මොනවද කියන්නේ කියලා කිය technology advancement will happen like 10 times 2x 3x 5x times higher. After certain point you can't, like, you can go beyond this. මෙච්චරයි පුළුවන්. මේකට වඩා there is no science. Like you can make the computers පොඩි කරලා, like can you make it way more smaller than this? No, right? Mobile phone ඔන්න mobile phone every year it's becoming smaller and smaller. But the mobile phone manufacturers know it. After a certain point, you can't make it smaller. මෙච්චරයි පුළුවන්. Okay, now for an example, a table උඩ you have a table. So it's a very big table එකක් දාලා we are trying to make the table smaller and smaller and smaller because we can put more tables. But at one point, you can't make it way more smaller than this. Did you get it, Hasalia? මේකට වඩා තවත් පොඩි කරොත් அது case කට්ලට් ඔන්න මරතන්. So they moved into software development, software improvement. So all these days it was hardware improvement. They moved into software improvement. They started improving what? The software solutions in there. Okay. මෙතන තමයි sensors, hard disk, okay, video captures. In this technology, a lot of new things came in video captures. Operating system, here we also got OS, AI languages, reliable, speed, master, network, connectivity. මේවා දාලා හදපු systems තමයි servers, notebook, mobiles, smartwatches, all this. Okay, nice. ලස්සනට තියෙනවා everything in detail. Check, copy it and put a tick. Great. Okay, nice. Let's get into the next part. That's going to be about the softwares. So we're going to talk about different types of softwares, okay, and its differences. We have been talking about the hardwares. So basically, softwares are a set of instructions that perform a task. Softwares are basically like a line of codes, a line of code, or line of instructions. In these instruction, they will tell what to do. Basically a software refers to as in short. Softwares दिखा तीनों off the shelf and tailor made. So which is requested and built and which is available. Now for an example, okay, if I'm using Canva, we call it as a ready-made software or tailor-made software. Nothing custom built software. Custom built. What is the difference? Okay, there are certain softwares in the market which you can purchase it by paying a money. Like example, Canva, Photoshop, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. These are all ready made, which is already made and available in the open market. Okay, with regular updates, and you can get it for a very cheap price. Cheap support and maintenance. These are what? All off the shelf softwares, ready made software, which is already made. On the other hand, we also have a custom built software. Mom the custom built software. Now, for you guys, we will be having exams in the. We created something called as an exam portal. This is a custom built software. Make a salary dile ganda koi baat nahi. What is it? Team Master Education. Okay. Exam.team Master Education. This is a portal where we created for our students to keep track of okay their marks. Api hadu ame exam portal ka api hadu okay team math dala salary dila api hadu ame portal ka. In this portal okay we can keep track of the students leaderboard marks and everything based on their grade based on their badges. Hame ekam api hadu alassanata. Okay, so we created all these in there. So make hamogi marks dala lesson. So everything we have created so far. Era lesson good. So we have all students marked in there. So maybe get O level you all also have to get registered. When the exams are near, I'll tell you all. Okay, when the exams are near, I'll tell you all regarding the O level. Hurry. Coming to this, so these are custom built. Abhi hadan doni. Student okay exam portal, we have to create this student registration system registration. These are all we had to create it. Student exam portal, student registration system, something like that. These are what custom built. Okay, here you don't get regular updates. Here we have requested update the आप request करो, they will give an update. These are expensive. Why it is expensive? These softwares are made only for you. So the total cost you all have to bear it. But Canva, it is not only available for you, but Canva can be downloaded across everyone. So literally anyone who uses internet can download Canva. So the cost is divided among user. Okay, here the cost divided among whom users. Support and maintenance. Here you have to paid support and maintenance now. Okay, limited support and maintenance can flow. Maintenance. The part or the make a system make errors, there are a lot of errors in that system. We are trying to make it. Then why people use it? Here, less customer satisfaction. satisfaction, high customer satisfaction, less customer satisfaction, and high customer satisfaction. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, okay. So let's get into the hardware devices. What are the different types of hardware devices we can connect to a computer? So softwares are the instruction, hardwares can be divided. Okay, so can you tell me some of the examples of hardware devices that we can connect to a computer? So I'll put them into the separation. Okay, can you tell me the examples of hardware devices we can connect to a computer? Different type of hardware like a mouse, and I'll categorize them into different orders. Okay, Balamu. Input device, the output device, the kila. Input device kila kya. Okay, these are the devices which helps to inputs data to the computer. Output device are the computers which will output data from the computer, inputs data to the computer. So Salia, can you tell me an example of a device that we can connect to a computer? I said dual mouse. Anything else? Awesome. Keyboard. Keyboard comes under non-pointing device. Okay. Anything else? Speaker comes under output device. Okay, nice. Anything else comes? Let's go through one by one. Let's go, guys. Okay. Yes, monitor, projector, LED, LCD TV. Right. What else? Printer, beautiful printer. That is, we call it as hard copy. Used to get printed copies. We call it as hard copy. What else? Joystick, graphic tablet, scanner. Nice, Umair. Good one. Scanner. OCR scanner किया करती no. Optical character. What is optical character scanner recognition के लिए किया? नहीं, it's a type of a scanner which can recognize characters. Recognition. Web camera, good. Okay, this one CCTV. Light pin, nice. Digital camera, good one. Barcode, QR code, nice. Web camera, digital camera, mic, microphone, mm, optical character, good. So under scanners, we have three types. So it's good. Barcode, QR code scanner, fingerprint scanners, fingerprint scanners, ATM, automatic teller machine. Huh? So in this, we have three different type of scanners. One is OCR, OMR, and MICR. A scanner which can handle magnetic strip or magnetic ink. A scanner which can recognize characters, and a scanner which can mark optical character recognition. We call it as optical character recognition. Okay, optical character. This is optical mark recognition. Optical mark recognition. Mark kilkiyanne, it can mark papers. That is magnetic in character recognition. Okay. In optical character, it can scan papers, scan text, mark papers, scan specialized ink. What is this specialized ink? Mostly checkbook మిగతా మీరు scan విని checkbooks. Okay, ledgers. Okay, ఇటు పస్సే bank slips. These are specialized ink, not a normal printer like ink. Touch screen, good. USB is an storage device. A hard disk is also a storage device, right? So can we mark down this? All right, okay, guys. Okay, so that's under the hardware. In a bus, we have to continue on from the printer and so on, okay, which we will be going through in our next class segment. So today's class, what are the things we learned? We learned about computers under technology classification, computers classified according to size, computers classified according to generations. Okay, then we learned about software categories, and then we learned about the hardware categories. Okay, next continuation class, okay, we will be going through a CPU and much more in detail concept. That's it for today then, guys. Okay, see you all in our next classroom. If you all have not ordered the Tutnang, place your order, and I'll be sharing the class recordings of the previous chapter. So in our grade 10 syllabus, in our grade 10 classes, you do get access to all the missed sessions too. Okay, so very simple and straightforward thing. You can inform your friends for this month. Those who all have done the payment for the last month, you all do need to make a payment because your subscription will continue as I gave a word. So March classes completely join free, and all the sessions will be done without any delays. Okay, so this morning schedule is only for this month. It was a normal classroom schedule. So morning schedule is only for this month because of Ramadan, and I don't want to do this classroom after Maghrib. So bye bye, take care, everyone. Let's meet you all in our next class. Until then, good night, okay, and assalamu alaikum to all of you people.